So my family is originally from Haiti. My parents came here in the late 70s, early 80s. When I was in high school, my grand aunt, who's kind of really like the matriarch of the family, was diagnosed with uterine cancer. And between the language barrier and the cultural barrier and just feeling like she wasn't in control, she decided to forego care. At her funeral, I thought, I could do this. I'm smart enough to do this in terms of the science and the information, but I care enough to do this better. I went to undergrad at NYU, and I majored in art history. And right now, I just finished my third year on clerkships, but I'm taking a research year. Everyone says that medicine is an art and a science. And I think the art of medicine has to do with the subjectivity of human interaction, in the way that textbook things can present in very different ways because of a person's lived experience. And using art, whether fine art or drama or anything, allows people to explore those issues in a visceral way that you couldn't just using a textbook, and allows people to really use every part of their brain to unpack things, which is what we do in medicine. I couldn't narrow it down, but my favorite piece of art at the Yale University Art Gallery is Untitled by Kerry James Marshall. It's just an incredibly powerful work. Some people say a picture's worth 1,000 words. This painting is a dissertation. And that's the painting that really started this entire art tour. When I was a first-year med student, I had no idea that, medicine's what I'm gonna use art in medicine. No chance. But I'd find myself in the museum more often than not because this is like my favorite place on campus. I was invited to bring prospective med students to the art gallery to show them like the amazing things in Yale. And I was really blown away by how effective it was at like creating the space to have these powerful, difficult conversations among a group of strangers. In 2014, my classmate and I, Tareem Rahman, started a course called U.S. Health Justice. And that was the course where Making the Invisible Visible was originally created and intended. It was such a success that the administrators at Yale wanted to put it in the main curriculum. So the structure that we use to take apart a painting it's a 4-step process. The first step is to be objective, just collect visual data. And the second step is to use the visual data that you collected to figure out what is going on in the scene. After that, students are challenged to think about what the artist intended to say, like what their message was. And then we give them some context in terms of when the painting was created. A lot of these paintings are 100+ years old, and these messages are complicated now. We ask, how does it relate to medicine? It really facilitates some amazing discussions. If there's one thing that I wanted students to know or to think about going forward, it would be to question everything, to look for alternate narratives, to look what isn't involved, to ask whom is this for? So one of the paintings that we use, which I'm standing in front of, is Whispered Words by Paul Gauguin. It's a very famous painting. Paul Gauguin is a very famous painter. But we use the painting because Paul Gauguin is known for, his visit to Tahiti and his depiction of native life there. It's very much common knowledge, but something that is less known is, his specific exploits when he was in Tahiti. Like what actually happened versus what he sent back. And we use the painting to really talk about narrative and the power behind narrative in terms of who gets to tell the story that stands the test of time and who has to fight to have their stories heard. And it's very relatable to medicine.